Britain is not going to be British for much longer, because figures from the ONS today tell us that 10 million immigrants are expected to move to the UK over the span of 10 years. That's a million a year. This is absolutely crazy. This should terrify you. If you think that the state of the NHS at the moment, that the state of the housing market at the moment is bad, well, it's going to get a lot worse, because no matter how many houses they build, even if we hit our targets, we are going to be absolutely nowhere near capable of keeping up in this country. And what on earth is going to happen to our culture and our identity when we are opening the floodgates in this way? This is absolutely bonkers. So the ONS figures predict that the population in the UK is expected to go up by 4.9 million to nearly 5 million between 2022 and 2032. Okay, now you may be thinking, Chloe, that says 5 million, but you said 10 million immigrants coming over 10 years. Well, that figure there from the ONS, that is, of course, the net figure. There are a heck of a lot of people leaving this country. As we've got people flooding into this country, we've also got Brits who are fed up of it. They're fed up of the fact that the tax rates are sky high in this country. They're fed up of the fact that it is almost impossible to get on the housing ladder if you are a young person today. They'd rather go off to some other country where it's cheaper and the tax rates are lower. So whilst we're going to have 10 million people coming into this country, we're going to have 5 million people leaving. So overall, 5 million net change to the population. But I think it's important to realise, when you're thinking about how much is British identity going to change, it's going to change a lot. If you've got 5 million Brits leaving and 10 million immigrants coming in, I think that this is a big problem for integration in this country. Okay, we have been a very, very welcoming country that is happy to bring in people of other cultures and other backgrounds if they integrate here. But when it happens at a rate this fast, you do not get the integration that you need. And we don't want to get, as much as we're very welcoming of other countries, I'm sorry, call it racist if you want, but I do not think that it is right to completely replace yourself as a country with people from other cultures. You're going to lose your British culture and your British heritage if you allow yourself to be completely replaced. And culture aside, even if you don't give a damn about our culture being replaced, our services just cannot keep up. Let's have a look at some of the reaction to this. Let's have a look at what Farage had to say on this.
It's the biggest issue that faces our country. Look at this graph. What does it tell you? It tells you the population has gone up by 10 million over the last 20 years, and today the Office of National Statistics say it'll go up by several million more by 2032. They're taking it as a given that regardless whether we have a Labour government or a Conservative government, net migration into this country will continue at massive historic rates. Both parties are equally guilty of this. In fact, the Conservatives lied about it in manifesto after manifesto, telling us they'd reduce the numbers. Why is it the most important issue in this country? Well, have a think about it. Even if we build the 1.5 million homes that Labour say they'll build, that won't even be enough to cope with the numbers coming during the course of the next 4 years, let alone the backlog we have. You want to get a GP appointment? Forget it. It's going to get even more difficult. Have you noticed how clogged up the roads are? Our quality of life for all of us is diminishing directly as a result of the population explosion. And here's the other thing that really matters. The steeper our population rises through immigration, the poorer per head we get in this country. This is a complete betrayal by our political class. And I promise you, it's on this issue that Reform are going to win the next general election. Believe me.
A complete betrayal by our political class. That's what Farage said there. And I think that that sums it up in a nutshell. We are being betrayed, especially as a young person. I desperately want to be able to buy a home. If I have kids one day, I want to be able to own a home that's got multiple bedrooms. Okay, I don't want my kids to have to be sleeping in little cots all the way round my bed, all crammed into one bedroom because we can't afford anywhere with multiple bedrooms. Okay, I just want to be, I'm not looking for a mansion, okay, but I just want to be able to, without being a multi-millionaire, be able to buy a home in this country. Is that such a hard ask? And, Labour came out with these ambitious plans for building homes, but now I just feel hopeless, because when you see the numbers that are predicted to be coming in, you just see nothing's going to change. It's never going to get easier to get a house. It's never going to get easier to get a GP appointment. It's just going to get worse if we're stuck with Labour or the Conservatives. This is just absolutely horrific, especially for young people who want to have hope for their future in this country. And I can tell you, a lot of us young people, we feel pretty dismal, and we've got pretty low hopes as it is at the moment. Anyway, let's have another look at what some other people are saying about this on Twitter or X. So Kelvin McKenzie, he says the shocking ONS stats showing net migration of 4.9 million over the next 7 years will take the UK's population to 72 million. This leaves a major question. Which politician speaks for me and others like me who didn't vote for this change and want it stopped? It ain't Starmer. Yeah, so Keir Starmer, in response to these figures from the ONS, he has doubled down and again said, we will not put a cap on net migration. How can you plan in this country? How can you plan your infrastructure, your homes, school places, etc., if you have no idea how many people you're going to have coming in the country each year? If you're not willing to put a cap and just have a ballpark figure of this is the number of people that we've got to plan for each year. He won't do it. He's saying they're going to put out a white paper with their ambitious plans on how to tackle this problem. Yet still, without putting a number on it? I mean, come on. It's just pathetic. This government has absolutely no backbone. Look at Trump and look how much he is doing, at least on the illegal migration side. In 1 week, they've got planes taking off, deportations happening, arrests happening, 308 arrests on Trump's first day in office. We've now got planes going to Colombia. Colombians didn't want them, but then Trump said, right, we'll put a load of tariffs on your goods. Sure enough, Colombia changed their mind straight away within hours. Where is the tenacity in this country to take care of our own people rather than allowing our housing market, our healthcare system, our identity to be destroyed? Keir Starmer isn't going to fix it, that's for sure. Patrick Christie says, population increase of 4.9 million in 10 years due to immigration. No, absolutely not. Cannot be allowed to happen. It shouldn't be allowed to happen, but our political class aren't going to stand up for us and stop it, are they? And it's not just those on the right standing up. Piers Morgan, he says, this is unsustainable. Our public services can't even cope with the current numbers. I think people, it used to just be people on the right talking about immigration and saying it's a problem, but I think people across the board are really starting to wake up to this now. Normal people who are struggling to get a house, who are struggling to get an appointment, people who maybe are not that interested in the debate about multiculturalism and the consequences of not having integration, but when it actually starts to affect their daily lives in not being able to get a doctor's appointment, not being able to buy a house, etc., crime rates going up, they are starting to wake up, these people across the political spectrum from left to right. So yeah, that's the news on immigration. Reads for pretty dim reading, but let's hope that maybe in 2029 we can get some people in power who can put the brakes on and stop this crazy upward trend that we're seeing on that ONS graph. Anyway, I'm Chloe Dobbs. Thank you very much for watching. Press the notification bell below if you haven't already so you don't miss out on our videos. See you next time.